Hello everyone, this is Spike Lee. This is February 26th in the year of our Lord, 2009. The very last days of Black History Month. We're here in New York City at Lincoln Center, the Walter Reed Theater. Image Nation is giving a 20th anniversary celebration of my film, Do the Right Thing. We will hear from many of the cast and crew about what we did a long, long, long time ago.
My name is Ernest Dickerson. I was the director of photography on Do the Right Thing.
Ernest and I were in film school together at NYU. We came in together, we shot all my films at NYU, shot my thesis film, Joe's Best I Ball, we shot starring Monty Ross. Then he shot She's Gonna Have It in succession. She's Gonna Have It, School Days, Do the Right Thing, Mo Better Blues, Jungle Fever, Malcolm X, and went on to direct Tupac and Juice.
I remember we were on a plane and we were flying to Los Angeles, and I think we were going to do some of the color correction on School Days. And I don't know, maybe you still write with yellow legal pad. I know I do. I cannot type and think, man. I'm analog. I'm still an analog person. But I remember you sitting next to me and you were writing this script, and at that time it was called Heat Wave. And the first thing you said to me, he says, look, the next movie I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set it on the hottest day of the summer in New York.
I have today's forecast for you. Hot!
Now, how do we get the feeling of heat on film? There was some images that you came up with, you know, radiators like overflowing and steam coming out of radiators and stuff. But you said, you know, those, you know, we've seen those before, but what can we do that, you know, to like really get the audience to feel the heat? You know, we kind of like, you know, bashed it around for a little bit, you know, and came up with color to really use color psychology. Certain colors make you feel heat. We really came up with the idea to stay away from cool colors, stay away from blues and greens, and mostly go with like warmer earth tones and everything else, and limit the color that way. And that was the start.
This film, for me, it really wasn't just about Howard Beach. To me, I think this film is an accurate portrayal of New York City at that time, under the Mayor Ed Koch, who I think really escalated the racial polarization that was here in New York City. And it's great to say, looking at this film, it's not like that today. That's not to say that all racism is gone, and that's not to say all racism is gone just because Barack in the White House. I mean, we're gonna have, you know, the Post and other stuff like that, but this is a totally different New York City. And I think we've evolved. I think Mayor Bloomberg has done a very good job compared to Giuliani time. But it's a different New York City.
My name is Rosie Perez, and I play Tina in Do the Right Thing.
Let's talk about the night that I met you. What was the name of the club?
Funky Reggae.
Funky Reggae.
Let's
Go ahead. Your version. Let's hear your
You mean
version.
the version, the truth?
No,
my
I'm not
version,
saying that. I said
the
your
truth.
version.
No, my
Your
truth
version.
is the
I
truth.
didn't say necessarily the truth. I said your version.
Let's say this, Spike. There's two sides of a plate, right? But you only eat off one.
Pencil you up, but go ahead.
This is what happened. I go, because I was leaving LA, remember? Well, you didn't find out till afterwards. I was leaving LA, I was going to college, biochem. I was leaving LA to go back to New York. Friends went out to celebrate Funky Reggae, walk in the club, and you were conducting this horrific butt contest. So I made fun of the butt contest. And then I jumped up.
What was the dance, though?
That I don't remember.
Who was performing? It was EU. And the hit record at the time was Doing the Butt from my second film, School Days.
So you're
So
trying...
it was a dance contest.
So you're trying to validate the degradation?
were you a choreographer for In Living Color? Was Jennifer Lopez one of the fly girls? Does Jennifer Lopez has a butt? Was she shaking her butt on Living Color? And were you the choreographer for that?
That was odd.
That was what?
I'm John Turturro, and I play Pino in Do the Right Thing. I played Pino.
What play was I saw? Was it Dan in the Deep Blue Sea? I saw you.
No, you saw me do another play. You'd see me do Five Corners by Shanley, then you saw me do, I think, Italian-American Reconciliation. But Danny Deep Blue Sea was a few years before that. I don't know if you had seen that. That was the one I did downtown, where I played like a really...
Well, the thing I remember was Five Corners.
Yeah.
You stole the penguin.
I killed the penguin.
No, you didn't kill the penguin. You beat the penguin to death with the baseball bat.
Yeah. It was a great character, man.
And then you were dancing with your mother. Then you threw your mother out the window.
Yeah, it was basically...
When I said, that's Pino!
My name is Richard Edson, and I played Vito.
I'll fuck you up. You know I'll fuck you up. You know something, Pino? What? You don't know everything you think you know, man. You think you know it, but you don't know it, man. Mookie, he listens to me. You don't, man.
And I remember John and Danny, they're tough. And they don't like to mess around. And I realized if I don't stand up for myself, they're just gonna walk all over me. And I remember there was that tension that morning. You know, okay, how am I gonna fit in with these two? Because, and it was funny because they kind of balanced each other out in a way. And then I could like find the middle ground between them. Plus I was the middle ground in a way. Between them, I was kind of the middle ground between Mookie and the kind of the neighborhood, and it was really interesting role to play.
And then when we met, you kept laughing at everything I said, and you pissed me off beyond, because my nerves were just in an uproar, and, you know, I was just flushed with emotion and embarrassment, which I was trying to contain and look cool. And then when I'm talking to you and I'm doing all this, and you were laughing, do you remember that? Mm-hmm. You laughed at every freaking thing I said, and I was so angry. And I remember I put my hand on my hip, and when I did that, you, like, did your ridiculous laugh that you do, and I was boiling. And then, do you remember what you did after that?
What?
You held out your hand, and you said, this is fate. And I remember that. You don't remember that?
I believe you.
I remember that.
I remember you said, Spike, one of my concerns with this film is that, you know, playing this character, Pino, I ride the subway a lot. And, you know...
I think I said that after we saw Dailies. I think I said it.
Tell us the story.
Well, we will watch dailies, and when you watch dailies, you see it over and over again, the same scene. So sometimes you see me saying those things over and over again, and you would invite everybody in to dailies who had never seen dailies before, and not that I had seen that many of them either. And there was one girl who was in craft service who didn't really kind of, you know, she would look at what I was doing, and she thought, maybe that's exactly how I was. And she would rarely ever give me water when she brought water around. But after she saw us specifically, I don't know what scene it was, she came up to me and she told me that she hated me. She said, I hate you so much. And I was like, uh-huh. And I told you, and I was like, you got to get me on the cover of Ebony, man. You know, with your arm around me, you know.
Another thing I remember, was Nation of Islam, was the security. And I showed up, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to get them to talk to me every single day. I'm gonna try. And I was like, oh, that's one of my goals here, you know, because we spent a lot of time hanging around. And every morning I would say hello. Never got a response. So about halfway through, we were there 12 weeks. About 12 weeks, right? 10 weeks? I think it was 10 weeks. Never got through to them. Also, I remember...
They never said hello?
They never said hello. They wouldn't even look at me.
The interesting thing about it, you know, I just said to one person, like, people forget all the reaction, the overreaction from the press at that time, was I never, ever had, you know, people were, like, delighted. The response from the black community was completely, you know, was completely positive. Completely. I mean, you know, I mean, to this day, people like say, "Oh, you're the guy," you know. I was like, "Holy shit!" They remember what I was saying, you know, and all this stuff. But
They feed lines back to you?
oh yeah, yeah.
What about
and,
the montage?
you know, I mean, so I mean, there's a lot of things in the movie that are really. There's not that many movies that you make, and I mean, this is because we're doing a special edition, but that stick in your mind.
You gold teeth, gold chain wearing, fried chicken and biscuit eating, monkey ate baboon, big thigh, fast running, high jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basketball dunking, titsoon, spade, mullignan. Take your fucking pizza and go the fuck back to Africa.
You little slanty-eyed, Mino-speaking American, own every fruit and vegetable stand in New York, bullshit Reverend Sun Young Moon, Summer Olympic 88 Korean kickboxing sabaran bitch.
How I'm doing? Chocolate egg cream drinking bagel and lox B'nai Buddhist Jew asshole. See, I still remember that.
You still remember that?
I still remember it.
It's over 20 years ago.
I know. That's the impact that experience had on me. Hi, my name is Stephen Park. I played Sonny in Do the Right Thing, the Korean market owner. Well, that was my first movie. That's how I got my SAG card, so that was a big thing. And working with you, I remember at the audition, actually, because I was a huge fan of yours before I even worked with you. And I remember hugging you in the room, because you gave me the role right at the audition. You gave me the role right then and there, so I was in heaven.
Roger Guenveur Smith, Smiley.
Tell the story, man. Because you want to be in the movie, I said there's no role for you. That's why I said.
Yeah, well, of course, there's never a role for me, but I have to try to create something out of nothing.
Good morning. My name is Smiley.
Something inspired me to create this guy who was trying to sell the photograph and who eventually put the photograph up on the wall of the pizza parlor that had been burned down. Because that's what we wanted. We wanted black folks up on the wall.
Hey, Sal, how come you got no brothers up on the wall here?
You want brothers on the wall? Get your own place. You can do what you want to do.
Eventually, in the filming, Smiley becomes the person who burns the pizza parlor down. And in thinking about creating Smiley, it wasn't until many months after, when people asked me where I really came up with that character, that I thought about people that I knew when I was a kid. I knew a guy who was selling the Sentinel newspaper, the black newspaper, on a street corner. My father would patronize him every Thursday night. I'd go with my dad, and he'd say, "Thank you very much," you know. And he couldn't really express himself, but you knew that he was profoundly grateful.
Roger Guenveur Smith, you're leaving stuff out because you were not in the script. So let's tell the story. Every day you would come to the set.
That's right. Every day
you come to the set and you would see if you could fit Smiley into the movie. Tell the story.
Absolutely. I lived in Bed-Stuy. I lived right around the corner from the set. I'm not necessarily a method actor, but it did give me access to the neighborhood, to the people of the neighborhood, to the vibe of the neighborhood.
How you doing?
Get out. Get the fuck out of here, man!
So I came in not really knowing what Smiley was going to be doing, how he was going to be doing it. I was given my cards, I was given some markers, I was given a nice Walkman with some, you know, earplugs and an antenna that I was able to raise up.
Whose idea was that prop?
It was my idea, but
They just had to get it, right?
But they got the prop, I think, off of an extra. It actually belonged to somebody, but I think it worked beautifully because Smiley was like always in touch with the ancestors.
You have that now, that prop?
No, I didn't get to keep that. That's in the archives, in the Hall of Fame or something.
I don't have it.
Oh, somebody snatched it back. They probably gave it back.
I wish I had a lot of that stuff.
Yo!
My name is John Savage, and I played the character Clifton.
What do you remember about... You worked one day, right?
I worked one day.
Why don't you move back to Massachusetts?
I was born in Brooklyn. I was on my way to the airport, and everything just seemed to fall together at the right timing, and I got a page, I think, from somebody. and I had a bike in my car, and I don't know where the wardrobe came from.
Well, let's talk about this. You've been telling people 20 years that Larry Bird gave you that shirt.
I thought he did.
Larry Bird did not give you that shirt, bro.
My sister...
I bought the shirt, I gave it to Ruth Carter, the costume designer, and she gave it to you.
You know, my sister went out with Larry Bird, and nobody... I mean, people... He knew... He's good friends with her. And I've been telling people that he gave me that shirt to wear in the movie, and that you were friends with him.
Me and Larry Bird have never been friends.
After 20 years. This is all gonna come out now. This is gonna be like...
We get a lot of people on that crew, man, a lot of people.
Think about that.
You know?
So, Richard Edson.
Yeah. Martin Lawrence.
In a big motherfucking way.
Robin Harris.
Robin Harris.
Ruby Dee. Who's not with us? Ozzy.
Ozzy.
Robin Harris.
Robin Harris, which was a major, you know, I mean, obviously Ozzy, but Ozzy got to live, you know, a really long life. But Robin, I mean, he was just tremendously talented guy.
Hell no, goddammit. Sal ain't never done nothing to you before, man, and me neither. Hear me? What you ought to do is boycott that goddamn barber that fucked up your head. Yeah, man. Shit. He'll come around here fucking with Sweet Dick Willie.
He used to just make me laugh so much. And he was a good athlete, too. People don't realize he was a really world-class sprinter in high school.
Roger Smith, remember that thing? The spitting thing? Yeah. Roger Smith, very interesting acting choice, decided to spit on the white people.
Several people talking about the spitting scene. Let's hear your version of the spitting.
During the fight, not the riot, but the fight within the pizza parlor.
Music!
Danny Aiello was replaced by his son, who was a stuntman. And he had no idea who my character was, what his mental capabilities were, how he might be compelled to spit in a big fight. And he just blew up. It was like, he didn't care about acting choices and he was just, nobody's gonna spit on him, no way, no how, and I was out.
But you didn't tell anybody you were gonna spit though, right?
No, but everybody there already knew who Smiley was, so it was within the context of the conflict.
Context of the conflict.
But my man came in and had no idea of what the context of the conflict was. To him, it was just a fight.
Stopped the whole production, and then I think Roger had to change his choice a little bit.
It would cause a little mayhem.
A little rumpus?
A little rumpus.
My name is Kevin Latson. I was a third assistant prop on Do the Right Thing. We in the prop department were trying to save money, and we had maybe 2 pizzas. And so I remember saying, I think we need a few more pizzas. We didn't get the pizzas.
We ran out of pizzas. We didn't have enough pizzas that day. And, you know, when you cut the pizza, you have to kind of push the knife in and roll it.
We in the prop department went to John Turturro and said, well, you can fake it. You know, don't actually cut through the pizza.
And I thought it was at the bottom of the frame, and I'm like just skimming it like this. And I realized it was in the frame. And I knew it was going to be bad for you because it looks like you have to go.
John Turturro laid our ass out. You laid our ass out, too.
So I got a little, pissed off. I said, well, do we have another pizza, man? I was like, let's order a pizza from somewhere. And we ran out, and people don't realize how hot it was that summer. And when we had the lights on, so when we put the pizza oven on with the lights and with the heat, it was pretty hot.
If you didn't come to Funky Reggae that night, we would never met.
We never met. Bizarre, right?
Crazy.
I could have been in a lab right now. I could,
That, your whole life would have been in a different,
Completely different change. And I tell everybody that. Everyone. It's like, meeting you and doing this movie put me on a path that I never expected I would be on. In my entire life, in my wildest dreams, I never expected it. And the thing is...
you had the talent, though. Still have the talent.
Well, thank you. I didn't see it. Remember? Oh my God. Do you remember? You said, I want you to audition for this movie. And I said, I'm not an actress. And you go, oh, yes, you are. And you laughed. You started laughing. And I was like, the hell do you mean by that? And I went back and I told my sister Carmen. Remember Carmen? I said, he said this and this and that. She goes, he's trying to say that you're dramatic. And I was like, I'm not dramatic. You know, it's like everything I didn't understand. I didn't understand why you made me dance for 8 freaking hours for the opening credits. Like I didn't understand. It was so new to me. Everything was just such a whirlwind, and it was spectacular. It was ugly. It was great. It was beautiful. It was everything, and it was magical at the same time. It really was. And when I sat there in the audience at the premiere, I was dumbfounded because I saw the magic of filmmaking, because I had participated in it. And, you know, people who think that sounds so, you know, simple or trivial, but there really is. There's a science to it, and it's science plus love plus art plus talent, and that occurred. And that's why I think this movie is an American classic. I really do. I really do. Hands down. Hands down. Hands down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chuck D, Public Enemy. Do the right thing, fight the power. Pal.
Tell me what you remember when you got my call to write a song for Do the Right Thing.
First of all, it wasn't a call. We sat down in Soho, myself, Bill Stepney, Hank Shockley, yourself, say, hey, I need an anthem. I had to come back with an anthem. It wasn't called Fight the Power, but it was an anthem that I wrote while being on tour with Run DMC over in Europe.
Yeah, but you don't remember this. Fight the Power is not the first thing you gave me, baby.
I know, but it was forming. It was forming. Then, even when we finished it, the last thing I expected that this song that we delivered would be in there 7 billion times. Each time I heard it in the first unmixed stage, I kept sinking deeper in the seat like, oh, shit.
What did I tell you that about the first one you gave me? Because I don't even remember.
I'm not going to remember it for you then. I ain't going to even try to think and say, did Spike say that shit sucked or what? But all I know is that you needed something to answer to all that stuff that was going on in New York City at the time. People were hating on the possibility of David Dinkins, all the stuff that was happening.
Being the first black mayor.
Being the first black mayor, all the stuff that was happening in Howard Beach. You had WLIB that was just making noise and speaking to the people, especially the black people of New York City at the time. And you said something had to be able to speak to that heat that was going on at that particular time to make sure that, you know, we were people too. Not that we wanted to be better, but we wanted to be accepted in this city as at least being equal.
So tell me if you can remember. How did you create?
Oh, people don't remember, man.
How did you create Fight the Power? After you came to me, let's start again. The first time I tell you, boom, 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 you give it to me, I say, you gotta go back into the woodshed, and you come back.
We came back in the woodshed.
Fight the Power.
Myself, Hank Shockley, Eric Sadler, Keith Shockley had to go back, and we said we have to come up with something funky. But there's about 8 or 9 different ways that we could have got funky, but we needed a theme. And Fight the Power, when I was a kid, was the first record I heard with a curse word, but it really spoke to, like, by the Isley Brothers. It spoke to the times. And Isley Brothers were just like that funk band that actually had meaning in their music, which you had to have back in the day, and still moved you. So basically, I had to take everything that you actually said, go get an anthem for all this stuff that was going on in this area, and say some things that we didn't have. I mean, this is during R&B. That's Reagan and Bush.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, those were times where, you know, when a movie comes out and you got more than 3 black faces in it, everybody had to go.
And I remember telling you that I want a song, I want an anthem, where when it comes out, and we knew this film was coming out in the summer, I said, when I walk down the block, I want to hear this come out of people's houses, out there, the boom boxes. I want to hear this song everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of pressure. It's like, Spike, I want an anthem. Well, how the hell do you just make an anthem? But the thing about it, you made a movie that was so powerful that spoke to so many people, not just in this country, not just in this city, but all over the world being disenfranchised, that I had to kind of like think, like I said, it's got to match. But I didn't think that.
You hadn't seen the film though, right?
I hadn't seen the film, but first time I saw the film, it was in Brooklyn at a pre-screening, a test screening, and I heard how many times Spike puts "Fight the Power" in the film, and I was like, oh shit, why the hell is this dude putting this song in, which ain't even finished, 9 million times in the film? But I guess that was the idea you had to make it an anthem. So really the idea
Every time we saw Ray Raheem, we would practically hear "Fight the Power."
Yeah, and you know the whole key is that they say in the music business that you can't shine shit.
What the fuck is wrong with you? This ain't about money. I could give a fuck about money. You see this fucking place? I built this fucking place with my bare fucking hands. Every light socket, every piece of tile, me with these fucking hands. You know what the fuck that means?
Yeah, it means pay me my motherfucking money. That's what it means.
For me, I just remember us putting the budgets together, us putting the numbers together, us making it work, us working with NABIT. Spike at that time was really challenging the Teamsters to open their doors to more people of color and to make sure that, and so it was a time when, you know, we were young, and I guess we were naive about the way things were supposed to work in terms of the union. But the power of the moment for us was when Spike had finished the script, John and I and Preston in a room making sure everything was going to happen the way Spike envisioned it, the way Ernest envisioned it, and then watching that happen.
Well, I remember, to me, one of the hardest things about making the movie, it's set on the hottest day of the summer. We shot for 8 weeks and had to make 8 weeks look like one day. It's supposed to be the sunniest, supposed to be hot and sunny. If I remember correctly, it rained for like the first 2 weeks. And we did not want to use our cover sets up so early. You know, we didn't, because we could have been screwed later on. We didn't want to do it. So I remember the scene where Steve White and Ella and Martin Lawrence, you know, yo, Ahmad, you know, sitting on the front stoop.
Yo, Ahmad! Look, stop. Look, Punch, if you want to do any more screaming, be my guest, because I'm too through.
I had to make it look like sunlight because it was pouring down rain. And actually, you know, on them it looks like sun, but we pan around to Radio Raheem, there was rain behind them. You don't see it because it wasn't lit, but it was, I just remember trying to figure out a way of just making sunlight, and I had to come up with a formula for making sunlight for like a couple of weeks. So that was scary.
2 stories I remember. It was my first film with Spike, so I didn't know him the way I do now. And we had a pre-production meeting, Randy Fletcher and Monty and I, we were talking about the first day of shooting, which was gonna be June 30th, no matter what. Whether Wynn had both sides of the street ready, which he did not, or not. It was
Wynn Thomas, the
June 30th. So we shot on the one side that was ready, and Randy said to me, well, call time's gonna be 6 o'clock. Spike said 6 o'clock. I said, well, Randy, sunrise is 6:20. So Monty and Randy had worked with Spike before, and I hadn't. They looked at each other, and well, you tell him. So went down, see Spike. I said, Spike, you know what time sunrise is on Monday? He said, no, but I know what time call time is, 6 o'clock. Then later into the shoot, we were shooting, you know, it was a tight schedule, 30-something days. And we were doing a day scene, the sun's going down, and we were running out of light. And I went up to Spike and said, how are we gonna do this? You know, we better wrap now, the sun's going down, it's gonna be too dark. It was the scene where Ozzy goes up the steps to give Ruby the flowers. He said, John, I know what I'm doing. And Ernest and Spike did their magic, and the sun went down, but it didn't go down on the screen, and they shot the scene, and we got it. So the point of the story is, Spike is there before the sun rises, and after the sun sets, and he's still working, no matter what, and get out of the way or get on board. That's the only way it's gonna be.
One thing I remember was the first day I Do the Right Thing. And it was just seeing a sea of black folk. And it was just like being in slow motion to see that costume designer, Ruthie Carter, cameraman, Ernest Dickerson. It seemed like a lot of kids were out of college, myself, Donnell Martin, who was a camera PA. It was just a beautiful sight to see, because I'd been in the business 4 years prior, and I had never seen anything like that. Soon after that, Spike always would, you would just say, "Kenny, sweep up the street." I said, "My name is Kevin." "Okay, Kenny, sweep up the street." You know, that was my job.
Either of them Korean motherfuckers are geniuses, or you black asses are just plain dumb.
Fuck you.
It's got to be because we are black. Ain't no other explanation. No, I know, man. You know it's true. Ain't they always trying to keep the black man to be about shit, I'm saying?
You motherfuckers hold this shit down.
I'm going to use some adjectives that I recall when I think of this film. One is heat, because it was hot, and I still feel the heat. It's one of those resounding memories you have, that heat. But along with the heat, there was respect, there was love, there's something that was self-evident, as anyone who watches this film will see. Talent. When you bring together a body of, I'm speaking from an actor's perspective, but not only from an actor's perspective, but mainly from that. When you bring together a group of people who are willing to come in and work under those conditions, to sacrifice, the commitment, the dedication, it's a resounding result that you see up here.
What's my favorite shot in the film? I don't know, man. There's a lot of them. I love the opening shot of Sam, Mr. Senior Love Daddy, as we pull out from the clock and him, and we zoom out and we pan to the street. I'm very proud of Joie's close-ups.
You know, if you really tried hard bugging out, you could direct your energies in a more useful way, you know?
I do think I did a great job on Joie. But there's that one scene where John Turturro and Danny Aiello are sitting in the window. We did that one long take, that long push-in, where John Turturro's character is talking about how he doesn't want to be there.
I'm sick of niggas. It's like I come to work. It's Planet of the Apes.
And then you had Smiley coming from outside, and then you got the voices from off camera. And it was all those one takes, because we love people that just did one take, just have all that control in the frame. And that's what I loved about us working together, man. We tried shit. We were always trying shit, but we had fun. We were like doing it, but we weren't. I like to say, we were learning and getting paid for it, and it was always trying to find the best way to get the audience to feel the story.
Hey, Mook, it's the Mook Man. I see you walking down the block, going home to your kid. Now, the news and weather. Our mayor has commissioned a blue ribbon panel, and I quote, to get to the bottom of last night's disturbance. The city of New York will not let property be destroyed by anyone, end quote. His honor plans to visit our block today. Maybe he should hook up with our own, the mayor, buy him a beer. Your love daddy says, register to vote.
The evening that Stevie Wonder came to the set and walked through the middle of the evening shoots, and I just never forgot that. I never forgot that, and I think the fact that, for me personally, just changed my whole perspective on things. It made me a different type of actor, and it catapulted things for me. And I think that maybe it's the same for others, but every film that I do, every television show I do, the reference point is to do the right thing. I was gonna ask you. You did do the right thing. You did do the right thing. And it never stops.
We shot this on one block. One block in Bedford-Stuyvesant. And I think for people who are on the set every day, I think we knew, no one talked about it. I think everybody knew we had the potential to do something special. And here we are 20 years later, we've come together. And this was the first time that I really felt confident as a director. And I want to thank the actors who really, really made it possible. Not everybody's here. Danny Aiello gave a great, great performance. This is Rosie Perez's first film, was Martin Lawrence's first film, Robin Harris's first film. Robin, a great, great talent who died very, very soon. Robin Harris played the role of Sweet Dick Willie. Barry Brown is not here. Great editor. My father, Bill Lee, did the music. So a lot of people came together to make this film happen. Thank you very much.